For those of you online, we'll be beginning in 3 minutes for our listing marketing class. At that point, just let me know if you can't hear me or see my screen. Oh, wait, you cannot see my screen. Hold on. Okay, now you should be able to see my screen. And if you can't, just drop in the chat that you can't see it. Or if you can't hear me, I'm going to put that in the chat just in case you can't hear me. Okay. Oh, no. Righty. Oh, righty. Love this. All right, everyone. Hi, welcome to class today. And today we are doing advanced tech. We're doing some listing marketing. So we're going to talk about kind of the best ways and the best channels to get a listing out there once you do have a listing. I asked one of our agents here, Leisha, if I could use her listing today as an example. And her being a Valentine agent, you're actually able to use that for your own social media. So as I'm going through today, feel free to follow along and you can actually post out about this listing. It's really pretty. She gave me these resources to pass out as well that she does for luxury listings. So just something to have just so you can see what other agents are doing for their listing marketing. And now this is, of course, as you will see, a big time luxury listing. So your marketing budget, of course, it may change depending on the listing that you're having. But this is a nice and pretty one that I wanted to use today. So that's our goal. We're going to go through a few things. We're going to go through, hopefully, how we can set this up on social media, given that it's working today. We're going to talk through how we can email this out. And we're also going to talk through how we can create a flyer with a QR code that can help with your door knocking for the listing itself. And hopefully we have enough time for something else, but we'll see as we go through. So to start off, if you do not know me, I'm Jules. I'm the Market Center trainer here at Keller Williams Ballantine. And anything I go over today, so if you would like a one-on-one appointment, going through anything, and I mentioned earlier that really with these classes, especially Thursday's classes being more advanced, being able to relay to your clients or your listing appointments what value you can provide them with your listing marketing, and then just book an appointment with us and we'll actually be able to do it all together. But just being able to tell them, I can post it on social media, I can send it out to all my sphere to let them know about it. That's the value you can provide, and that's what more so you should get from today's class. But yes, coming to kwbresources.com and clicking I need tech help in the top right corner, that's going to bring you right to our calendar so that you can book an appointment with us. So for the most part today, I will be in command, which is at agent.kw.com. And here I'm going to sign in. Again? If anyone was here Tuesday, hey, Tuesday, I swear I just did this Tuesday. So I didn't think I was going to have to do it again, to be quite honest. Okay. So yes, let's get signed into command here. And the first thing we're going to start with is doing a social media post for your listing. We're going to be in the design section. We're going to try to use that auto create section. If anyone was here Tuesday, we witnessed that when we all tried to do it at the same time, it kind of struggled a little bit. So let's try it again today and see what happens because it is a cool part of command. So in command here, I'm going to navigate to the design section, which is going to be on the left-hand toolbar of command, which is that paintbrush icon. And when I come here, this is going to show any previous designs I've worked on. So your screen's going to look different than mine. But we can go up to create design in the top right corner. And based off your goal, so like for social media, for example, we would just pick that goal and click next. So create design, then we can click social and then next. So on the left-hand side is where you're going to find different categories of different templates that we can use for your social media in general. But one of my favorite parts about this section is the sync with the MLS. So pulling in the images and the details for a property is easier like in this section than it would be in Canva, for example. So I'm going to try to use this auto create section today. And so that should be the top category on the left-hand side. And based off the status of your listing, we can click that status. Now, anytime we click on a category on the left-hand side, we're going to get some options near the top to narrow this down even further. So based off what we're creating here, we can select those formatted options. So for social media, the social dash square is going to work best. So we can click on that, and it's going to narrow down these options. All these options have very similar content. It's just the look of it that's different. So feel free to pick the one that looks more like you. And instead of just clicking on it when we're ready, we're going to hover over it and then click auto to populate like these pop-ups. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill out these fields on the left-hand side, and it's going to generate our design for us, ideally. All right, so first I'm going to put in the address. And this is where I got stopped last time, so fingers crossed, everybody. Okay, it worked today, guys. I know. It always makes me sweat when it doesn't. Yeah, I'm like, hey, I swear this just worked this morning. So here we do need to select the correct listing. The best way I'm able to identify that is just based off the pictures, because it does save like previous sold properties or like this property previous Solds. So select the one with the right picture and click select, and then click continue. Then all this information pulls from the MLS for you. However, the formatting of it, I do update here, so I don't have to be updating that once it's generated. So for example, for the price, I go ahead and put the $sign and the commas in there. Same with square footage. I do like to put the comma in there for that. Then the main thing we need to select here, so once we kind of just update the formatting for these things, we do need to select the property image, the main image that we'll be displaying. So we can click on that plus icon for add your image. And it's going to pull in all the MLS photos for you. So you don't have to go downloading those and uploading them. It's pulling them right in. So just pick your favorite photo. And then we're going to click continue to move us right along. The last thing it's going to do is have our DBA name logo in here. So that's perfect. Is everyone's displaying our logo? Okay, because I don't know what happens if it's not displaying the logo yet, but let me know. And then we're going to click generate design. And it's going to generate this for us. So amazing. It pulled in the picture for me. It pulled in all the oh, it did add the $sign. Sorry, guys. So it doesn't look like you have to add the $sign. But it's okay because anything that's on this screen here, we can still edit. So the steps to edit this stuff on our design is single clicking on an element like the text box is going to allow us to change the formatting of it. So we can change the color and the font, the size. Double clicking in a text box will allow you to change what's actually in there. So if I want to delete that, I can double click where the $sign is and just click delete. And that's how we make changes on our designs. Now for the address, for example, like you'll see that it's too crowded, it's too long, so it moved to the next line. That's okay, we can update that as well. So to do this, we're gonna click on that element. And this gets a little finicky sometimes. You do need to like click on the text box. And then we can use those dots to the like edges of this text box to expand that out so that we move that to one line. And then I like to use the align tool. So like they're up on the top toolbar, this is where you're going to find a bunch of formatting options, again, like where you can change the font and whatnot. Also, there's this align option up here so that you can easily center things to the middle of the page, so you don't have to go figuring out what the center is. If you click the align and center, it's going to center it. So we have everything that we need compliance-wise here. I just want to show you a little bit of an extra tip to put our headshot on here. So when people see it, they're like, wow, this is her listing. And you can do that because it's a Valentine listing. So to do this, we're going to navigate to the images tab on the left-hand side. And then we're going to click on my assets. That's like near the top of this section here. And this is where your headshot should be. If it's not, you can also add your headshot here. So that like red plus icon, you can upload an image from your computer in case that's not already there. But what we can do here is we can click on our headshot just to add it to the page. Whoa. Okay, and then make it really not this big. And how we make it not this big is we need the corners so that we can drag that in to make it smaller. But what we can also do is remove the image background. So as long as I'm clicked on this image, I'm going to get an option near the top to remove image background. Don't click use as image background, just click remove. And it takes a second. Yep, there we go. But now I can put myself right on this design so it can look right. It looks like my design or my listing now, and I just put my face on it. Yeah, I would actually like to buy this listing personally. So it is recommended that you ask an agent, but I went ahead and asked the agent to see. Oh, but yeah, it's technically for compliance purposes, you can market anyone's in the Valentine Market Center for courtesy. Yeah, they do like if you just ask them. Yeah, we can put that on social media, and I'll go through those steps next. So, can I? Exactly. And we'll put in the caption, for compliance, listing courtesy of, and put the listing agent's name. That's what we need to have for compliance. But how many people really are scrolling and read all the caption and they're going to see it's not your listing? They're going to think it's your listing probably. So it's courtesy to ask them before if to do it. Compliance wise, lawfully, yes, you can. But yeah, courtesy wise, if you just shoot them a text and say, hey, I'm just trying to up my social media game, they're usually down because that's doing marketing for their listing. I mean, they usually always say yes. So, but just to shoot them a quick message just so they know. And then we'll always include their name in the caption. And I'll show you how we can go about that. So yeah, if you even kind of look through our MLS and like filtered by Valentine listings and you're like once a week picking the prettiest listing to go promote out, really people are looking at that feed, your sphere, and are thinking that's your activity. So you're doing the job of like looking like you're doing this activity out there while you're promoting other listings too. Yeah, exactly. Truly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, no, yeah, this is like from the very start. We're under auto create and just listed, and we went through all those steps. And then it brought us to this to generate that design. And at this point, that's where we were to upload our headshot right in there. So at this point, what we can do is we can go to download this image. So I do always recommend downloading your design just to your computer so you have it. So we can click that download button in the top right and then click download again. JPEG's perfect for social media, by the way. And also, if you wanted to as well, and let me just save this to my computer here. You can also give this a name. It's near the top right here that's displaying, really for your organization purposes, so you know what this is within your command account. Then clicking done is going to move us back into commands designs. And you'll see that design is right here. So if you are working on that, it does auto save so that you can go back to it and make additional changes at any point. But now, since we've created that in designs, we're going to go blast that out in campaigns. And that is typically how these sections work together. We create first in designs, and then we go send that out in campaigns. So let's click on that. And then we can simply go up to create campaign in the top right and do this as a social post. Now, as long as you're connected up to social media, this should be working for you. If not, I'll go through after the fact the steps on how we can connect that up in our settings section. But just to show you what we would do here is we're kind of just building out this section. So first off, if you have your Instagram account also connected to command, by default, it only selects your Facebook account. So you have to click that drop down and select your Instagram account as well if you have that connected. Next, we're going to fill out the content part. So first, I'm going to just start with our design. And how I pull that design in very easily is I'm going to click that little add media icon. It's next to the emojis. It's add media. And then I'll have an option to browse my designs so that I can easily pull that right in. And then I'm patient. There we go. Okay, maybe, is that not blank? Okay, so see, this is why I like to download a file to my computer as well. I'm going to try my downloaded file. Okay, this one works. I think designs is having a week. Okay, so that's why, yeah, I like to download it as well. Sometimes I do get like an error message, especially if I'm going really fast, like in class. Sometimes it's like, it's not synced yet. So that's why I like to just download a file so I can pull that in either way. Then we're going to use the text field and we're going to give that a caption. Typically what I do for this is do the status at the top. And I like to throw in emojis using that smiley face icon. I have access to all the emojis to make that more eye-catching. Then what I also like to do is I'm going to keep this page up. I'm going to keep this page up and I'm going to actually go into a new tab. And in this new tab, I'm going to go to our website. So whatever your command website is, go to your live site. And in the search bar, I'm going to search for the listing that we're doing this marketing for so that I can easily just like pull in all the information that I'm wanting to put in my caption and even link to my website so they can see more. So I'm going to type in the address. And as you're typing that in, it's going to like populate. What we're looking for here is the one with the dot on it. This lets you know that it's the most active listing right now. So if we start typing that in, it's easiest just to click it from the drop down to bring us right to the page that we need. So the one with the dot on it, click on it, and it's going to bring us right to the property page. So what I like about it, it has like the property description, everything I would need for my caption. So I'm going to use the property description. So one of two things I could do here. I could simply copy this and paste it into my caption so that they can read more about it with the property description. To get a little more advanced with our class today, I could also use ChatGPT and ask it to act as a real estate professional and write a social media caption based on this description. And then I'm going to paste that in there. And I'm going to let it do its thing. And it even gives me a nice caption. It gives me emojis. It gives me the hashtags to use as well. So from here, I can just click that copy icon in the bottom at the bottom of that and go back to our social media build out. And I actually like theirs just better in general. I'm going to copy and paste that. Something to look out for when you're copying and pasting from ChatGPT is like when they bold things in here, it transfers that when you paste it with asterisks. So either know that and go back and delete it, or if you, instead of using that icon, if you just highlight it all and copy it this way, it for some reason does not bring that in. I don't know why, but you'll see that it comes in normally. So this is perfect. The last thing I do want to add to this, and I like to add it near the top for Facebook purposes, is I'm going to add a little line here that says, click the following link for all the details and photos. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my website where I have my listing pulled up, and I'm going to use that URL up at the top and copy it, and then paste it into my caption so that I'm driving traffic back to my website while giving them more information about that listing. So everything I'm doing on the left-hand side, I'm seeing a preview on the right-hand side. The next section we scroll down to is the compliance section. The only thing for our market center we have to have on listing posts is our logo. So if you've already added that logo because we did it through designs, it does auto like make sure we're in compliance in designs. But if you're using Canva or something of a different platform and you're uploading a file here, you can also click to add the logo right from this section. It puts it in the bottom right or left. But then you'll be in compliance even if you use like Canva or something else. Then the last step that we do here is either publish immediately or we schedule that out for a specific day and time. Really with social media posting, it's all about trial and error. Your audience really engages, like all our clients have different audience engagements. So the idea here is try out different times, see what engages best, and then replicate. So if you see it's performing great at 11, I'll just start posting at 11 a.m. So it's all about trial and error to see what's performing good. So mostly the times that are best are bright and early in the morning, 7 to 8 a.m. when people are waking up and their first thing they do typically is check their phone and they check their emails. Then lunchtime is another key spot, 12 to 2 p.m. because people are on their phone during lunch. And then later in the day, like after rush hour traffic, like 8 to 9 p.m. is another like peak spot is right before bed when people are scrolling on their phones before, at bedtime. So those are the three that we see most popular. It is when you think of it like that, but you know, when I read those times, I'm like, oh, I wonder why. And then I kept reading. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah. So feel free if you are following along today and you created a post for this listing. Again, I asked the listing agent if you're free to post. Oh, that's forgot. Guys, the one thing, the listing courtesy of, for compliance, we do need to list that in the caption. What I do for that is I just go to that website and it says listing courtesy of right here under those pictures. And I just copy that and I paste that into my caption at the bottom so that they're less likely to see it. No, nope. It commands already synced to your to the MLS. So then if we just copy and paste that in there, we're good compliance wise. And again, I asked the agent, so if you wanted to go ahead and post this out today, feel free to go ahead and do so. And you are good to market that out. Let me just show you too, if I wanted to like work on this and save it as a draft, how we go back and find our drafts is going to be in the campaign section still. But when we click on campaigns, there's more options near the top. So we have different like sections of our campaigns. And under social posts, by default, it would not show draft posts. It's going to show live and scheduled. But we can click over to draft posts so that we can continue working on it by clicking those three dots and editing it. So you can always save as a draft and come back to work on it later. All right. So that is how we go about creating a social media post with this. The next thing I'm going to go over is how we can create a flyer for door knocking. And that way we can kind of create that. And my plan is to use that flyer in our email as well, just to save us some time. So to do this, we're going to go back to our design section. We're going to go to create design. But instead, we're going to click on print this time because it's a flyer. However, you'll see that it's almost identical templates, if not identical. So we're going to kind of do the same thing. However, when we click on our I personally think auto create is just the most time saving thing that you can do. So like there is listing templates in general that are all the same, but you have to like manually go change those out. So I would personally always use auto create for listings just to make your life easier. So we click on auto create in our status, except this time instead of social square at the top, we're going to click on flyer. And we're going to get our options here. So again, instead of just clicking on the one you want to use, we're going to hover over and we're going to click on auto. But same kind of steps. So I'm going to go kind of faster this time. Put in our listing address. For a flyer for door knocking. Mm-hmm. And then we select our listing and click continue. Then there's a few more things that get put on this section here. Okay, from here we're going to, well, this is coming soon phase. So from this, we want to click on the right status. And then when we click on a category on the left-hand side, as it loads, we're going to get options up here to run that down. And then base, which look do you like the best? Okay, so instead of like clicking on it, we're going to click on auto though. And now this is where the pop-up arises and that you can search for the listing. Yeah, and the address is on that little template too. So same kind of thing, formatting wise, this time I won't add in a dollar, but I will add in my commas. Excuse me. And then for the home details, so all these it's these bullet points that it's prompting for here. I'm sorry. So what I would do here, because they're all blank, so you do have to fill those in. However, I would go back to my chat GPT. And since I already gave it the description, I can just say, rewrite or give me 8 short bullet points based off the description for a flyer. And then it's going to give us those things that we would recommend putting on there. So I would just go ahead and copy each of those things to my listing. No worries at all. Yeah, I hope you have a great tea group. Is tea group? Okay, yeah. Hope it's great. And just remember, this class is recorded, so you can always check it out later. Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I love having some good students, but till next time. Yeah, thanks for coming. Oh, good. So I'm going to copy each of those line items in there. But honestly, for time's sake, I might just kind of go with 2, and you kind of get the idea of what we can do here. And we would fill out each of those just to provide more information here. The thing we do need to add as well is the images. So we can click to add images so we can pick our favorites. And then we can click continue. And this is where we're able to put our information, because as you can see for this design, at the bottom is going to actually fill in with your information here. But feel free to format this however you would like. So like for my phone number, I really like the dashes, so that's perfect. For the email, I don't see that it ever is correct for anybody, so make sure that you're updating that. And this does autofill with your correct one, so you don't have to change that one. All we have to do now is click Generate Design. Perfect. And actually, I'm glad that I did not fill out every single detail, because I want room to put a QR code on here, and I think that's a good amount of room there. So I am going to go ahead and click on them and delete them. And hold on one second. I think they just added a new feature. Let me check it before I explain it, because it might just be for labs right now. Hold on one second. Dang it. Yeah, it must be labs. Okay, no worries, no worries. Okay, so to put a QR code on this design, what we would do here, so the best QR code we would create that with, it would be the listing page on our website. So again, that we're driving traffic to our website while still providing them the actual details of the listing so they can see that. So to do this, I'm going to first copy that URL up there. And then in a new tab, I'm going to search for QR code generator. Now we did this, something very similar on Tuesday's class. So kind of to breeze through it a little bit, we have v-qrcode-generator.com. We can click on that. That's the one I like to use. And it's always, no matter the QR generator, it's always going to be just prompting for a URL you want that to point to. And as soon as we pasted that in where it says enter URL, it made us a QR code on the right-hand side so that we can click that download button. Oh, sorry. Download and give it a name just so, again, that you know what it is. And PNG is perfect, so that's the only thing you need to do here. Just give it a name and click download. And then you don't need to sign up. We could just X out now because it's been downloaded. And now we can go back to our design, and we're going to upload this like an image. So we can go to the image section on the left-hand side. And to upload images here, we can go right over to my assets and click that plus icon to add image, and just pull that right in from your computer. Then we can click on it to add it to our design, and we're going to need to just resize it using the corner little dots to make that an appropriate size here. So that way, when you are door knocking, QR codes really bring print marketing to life. So if you're doing print marketing, you should really have a QR code always on it, whether that's to your website, whether that's to your contact information, it doesn't matter. It's just the way that you bring print marketing to the life, because really what they're going to do with the flyer probably is throw it away. So the idea is, what can you put on it so that they scan that and they save that information on their phone. So if they do throw it away, it doesn't matter because they have it on their phone. So QR codes are really great for that, for print marketing. So something to note here, I guess it did not pull in the DBA name logo for me. So I would need to switch that out with our logo. So I could click on that logo. It's a placeholder, it says DBA name. And it's going to move us right to our logo section so that I could go over to my assets. And as long as we're clicked on that logo first, we're going to get an extra option when we're hovering over that image so that we can replace image, and it's going to drop it there without having to resize it. So it's just going to just boom. So at this point, we could then go print it out right on the printers in the office so that we could start door knocking for this listing. So any questions on that setup? Because now, I mean, there's an option to order print in the top right. You don't need to do that. It's like ordering it through a third party. You can just download this. Oh, what we would do is click download. And we would want to switch the JPEG option to PDF for printing. PDF's best for printing. So we could just switch it for PDF to printing and click download. That way we have the right version to print it. And it's just going to save it onto our computer so that we can go print it again on our printers here. Okay. Okay, we did the social media, we did the flyer. The last free channel is what we're kind of going through, is going to be email. And we're going to just use this template, this flyer template, to make our lives a little easier to get this out ASAP. So I'm going to click on done in the top right corner, and that should move us back to command. In case it doesn't, you can just simply, like in your URL bar, just type in agent.kw.com and it's going to bring you back. So now for this, what I'm going to do is click, I'm in design still. I'm going to click create design top right, except this time I'm going to pick email and click next. So when I click this option, it's going to give me totally different templates versus like social and print have the same. Now, couple ways we can go about this. There is a for sale template in here. I'll go ahead and click on it to show you. Click next. This is more so prompting, more manual switch out. So it's like prompting you to go ahead and fill in each of these items. And the how about that is clicking on it will open that up on the right-hand side so that we can say exactly for this listing. And then clicking that arrow button is what's going to save it to our design. So not save, but that arrow button. So yes, we could go through and kind of just like manually switch these things out. Or what I might recommend is we could also just use that flyer and just use that kind of as the email piece, so that since we've already created that. So to do this, I'm just going to go ahead and delete some elements that I'm not going to need, and mostly all the elements. So I can click on an element and click the trash can icon. Or actually, sorry, that might be just a little cumbersome. So instead, so you can use this template if you want, or if you want to X out, go back to the designs, do create design and email, and next. And we can actually create one from scratch. So we can do create new template in the top right, so that we're kind of just creating our own email, so we don't have to go delete all those items. So the first thing I would do is in the top left is where you can give it a name so that you know what you're working on. That's the first thing I do. Then using the right-hand side, I'm going to use these elements to build out my email. So the two things that our email needs to have for compliance is a legal header and a legal footer. So that's usually what I start with. I just click on the right-hand side and drag and drop that to the left. Same with the legal footer. I just go ahead and click and drag and drop that beneath it. Okay, now we're good for compliance. The next thing we're going to do is kind of just add in our elements to add in our flyer. So to do this, I'm going to click on the image icon. And you'll see when you drag that over, there's like a green line that appears. I want to put that in the middle of those two. So wherever that green line is appearing is where you can release your mouse, and it's going to drop it there. So just a heads up, what's cool about this section is that you can easily pull in listing images. So if you need to add those images, you can search by the listing and pull those right in. However, you can also add images. So if I go to add images, I can upload those from my file. Oh, gonna be a PDF. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna use our social media design instead. That one is a JPEG. And when I upload that, you see how like it's grayed out when I try to click save? The extra step here is we need to click on that image and then click save. And that's going to bring in, I had to use our social media design because I did download the flyer as a PDF. If you want to use the flyer for this, you have to download it as a JPEG. So next, what I could add in, and then so once we added that image right on the right-hand side, we're going to click that arrow and it's going to like save it. Next, I'm going to add in a text box so I can say a little bit more about that, about the listing. So I'm going to click the text on the right-hand side and drag, again, looking out for that green line to make sure I'm dropping it right below the graphic. And this is where I'm just going to simply grab the property description, copy it, and using the right-hand side here, I'm going to paste that in. Oh. And a keyboard shortcut to not deal with formatting is if you're on like a non-Mac, it's Shift-Control-V, and that won't save the formatting. And for Macs, it's Shift-Command-V to not save the formatting. So now I have a little property description. Again, anything I'm changing here on the right-hand side, so my alignment of it, for example, be sure to click that arrow to save it. And the last thing I'm going to put here is a little button, just so they can see more about the listing if they click. So element on the right-hand side, I'm going to use that button, drag and drop that over. And then the button can say anything you want. So if I wanted to say learn more or view listing, have it say that with the text. And then the link to drop down, we're going to click that link to and do web address. And again, just like we did with the QR code, oops, we're going to use that URL from our website and paste it here. So when they click on that button, it will drive them back to your website with all the property details. And boom, we have our email. We have the pretty image with your pretty face. We have the description, and we have how they can learn more about it, which is your website, so you can ideally get that lead info. So the last step here is how do we send it out? Oh, and before actually we do that, these things like in our legal footer and header, those are merge fields. So those are going to pull in with your information from your marketing profile. Just to feel extra good about that, you could always go up to options in the top right, click on preview, and you'll see that all pulls in for us. So now though, we can click on save and close. It's going to move us back into command. Again, just like our social media and flyer, we're always going to have this file in our design section. So if you do need to edit that or maybe duplicate it for like maybe sitting on the market a little long, so you want to duplicate it and just send it out again, you can absolutely do that. But then how we go and send this out at this point, so create it in designs, let's go send that out in campaigns. And we did kind of go through this on Tuesday, but just a refresher, what we would do here is click create campaign in the top right. And for this, it's going to be an email. You do need to give it a name and a goal, but this is just for your organization purposes, so you know what you're sending out. Nobody else sees this. Create campaign, and command email is perfect. Just ignore MailChimp. Then we're just going to try on the left-hand side to do each of these sections. So the first two are complete. Next, we're just going to do our recipients list. So as we talked about last time on Tuesday, as you're creating lists, you'll see a drop down of those lists. Just a heads up, you know how on Tuesday we created like an all contacts list? That does not auto update. So like as you're adding more contacts to your command, it's not like that list was created whenever you created it and it's pulling those contacts at that time. So as you are adding more contacts to your database, you do need to add them to your contact list as well. And you can also edit contact lists from here. So let's say I do add more contacts and I like select that and I click to edit. It will allow me to add more to that contact list, but just something to know. So we can also create lists from this section. So the most common ways that you're going to create email lists is going to be based off tags. So that's why there's an option here to do that. But also if you want a all contacts list, I'm going to note again, just that extra thing about if you have over 100 contacts in your database, you cannot simply select all to grab them all. You need to scroll down, click load more, and keep loading more until you see them all, and then scroll all the way back up and then select all. Just something to note with all contacts, click confirm. Next, we're going to go ahead and give it a subject. And for that, I'm going to go ahead and use my ChatGPT example that gave me. A nice headline that I like for a subject as well. Okay. And then I'm going to click select design. And that's going to pull in all my email templates. So you're not going to see your social media or flyer here. You're only going to see your email designs. So we can click on that email design. It will allow you to make some final changes if you need to, so feel free to do so. But save and close is what's going to move us along. Then on the right-hand side, we're going to see the preview of that email. What I recommend is there's a or like a little section that says actions. I recommend sending a test email to yourself so that you can feel really good about that, so you can see what your clients are going to see. But then it's a matter of clicking send to send immediately or clicking schedule to schedule that out for a specific day and time. Any questions on that? So when you do have a listing, if you're going just listed, those are definitely the top 3 things that I would recommend doing. Getting it out on social media, getting it out on email, and getting a flyer ready so that you can go door knocking. Those are just the free channels that you should at least be utilizing to make sure that your sphere, it's getting out there for your sphere. At the very least, even typically your marketing doesn't like really sell the listing. Typically buyers go to Zillow or wherever to get there to find their home. So really what your marketing is, aside from providing value to your sellers by telling them that you're promoting it this way, you're also showing your sphere the way that you can market their listing. So it's a great way to get, your sphere to see that you're a great realtor, because wow, she can do that listing marketing. That means she can market my listing really well. So it's more so of a showcase of how you can market your sphere's listings as a marketing ploy. The final thing we're going to go over today, it's a little more of the next level, but we're going to talk about how we can set up an ad for our listing as well. So from our experience, setting up ads, and they're paid ads, and it's a way to get your listing, get more exposure for people outside of your sphere. And that's why it's paid, is because you're getting in front of people that you're not friends or followers with on Facebook. It's presenting like an ad. From what we've seen, because we've run quite a few now, the ad typically, again, does not sell the listing. Those are pretty cold leads that are coming off the internet when you run those ads. So having a good nurture system is really important for the running your ads. So I wouldn't recommend necessarily going ahead and pushing out an ad for every single listing that you're doing. I would first set up a follow-up system so that you're nurturing these cold leads, and then that might be more worth your while. Again, it's more so to get more leads than it is to actually sell the listing, from what we've seen. So how to do this? To run a paid ad in Command, the first thing that I'm going to check on for everybody is our settings. So if you click on your name in the top right and then click settings, what we're looking out for, so there's 2 Facebook connections. Oh, and they actually moved this, but that's okay. So having Facebook post scheduling connected up, that's great. That will allow you to schedule out posts in advance on Facebook. However, this one is like your regular posting, right? Like when you're posting it, your friends and followers see this one. For the Facebook Ads Manager connection, this is where we can connect our like paid ads. So to do that, we're going to actually click on, they've moved it recently. So where it says Facebook Ads Manager, and yours might not be at the top. It might be like under social. But we're going to click on paid ad settings, that orange banner, to move us to the right section. So here, this dashboard here, if you go under assets and Facebook pages, this is where we're able to connect our Facebook account. This is kind of good. I can go through the connection part. Once you connect it up once, you're not going to have to do it moving forward. So it's just something you need to do one time. What I would recommend is in a new tab, just go ahead and sign into Facebook so that it's going to auto sign you in. So have Facebook open in one tab. And then in your paid ad sections here under assets and Facebook pages, click on add Facebook page and continue with Facebook. And since we're logged in already, it's going to select the right account. Click on reconnect, or it might say something different for you maybe. Yeah, I think I had previously connected that up. So it might give you a few extra options to select your business page and then click next. And then here, oh no, that's right, because I'm not an admin. Oh no. Okay, no worries, no worries, no worries. Hold on, bear with me. How? I don't know why it's not. And I don't think I know my mom's password off the top of my head. Well, shoot. Okay, let me just kind of guide you through it. So this is where you would connect up. We probably wouldn't have enough time to go through the full process anyway. Again, more so knowing that this exists, book an appointment, we can do this together. Once you connect your Facebook page, it will give you the extra setting or the extra pop-up to accept terms and conditions. So you would want to click on that. And once you're connected up once, you don't need to go through those steps again. And then you're going to be able to run some paid ads right from this dashboard. So when we're selecting which program to run, always pick the ones with the blue little, I don't know what we call that little thing. This is letting you know that it's using a Facebook form that is great for capturing leads. So for one, it's nice and credible because that's Facebook's logo, but all the ones with the blue banner lets you know as soon as they click on the ad, the lead would automatically go into your command account. So there's not something they have to fill out like a form. As long as you're using those blue bannered ones, those automatically go into your command account, which is fantastic. So the setup of it, once we click on, like for our listing, there's two options for listing, one with a single image or video and one with a multiple image. We typically run the multiple image one, and you can select up to 5 images right from the listing to set that up. Now, what's actually really cool about this section too now is they utilize AI. It's integrated into this section. So you'll see as you're building that out, there's going to be a little pop-up in the bottom right that says, need some AI assistance. And if you click on it, it's going to build out the headline and description for you. So all you have to select are just your favorite images that you want presented there. Then by default, it's targeting the listing location in a 15-mile radius. That's most common of what we see when we set that up. Like for a listing, we just do a radius of 15 miles around that listing location. And then once you move on down, it will give you some extra options to set up your lead follow-up. And then it moves you to a page to set up your budgeting. Budget-wise, it's recommended to run these ads for 5 to 7 days for $5 to $7 a day. So we're looking at a total budget of anywhere from $35 to $50. Obviously, like if you spend more and run it for less days, you're maximizing exposure versus like if you run it 7 days for $35, it's like the least exposure. So really based off your budget of how you want to go about that. I would, like I said earlier, they are really pulling colder leads. So having a nurture system is great. But if you have like a seller that's kind of like picky and that are like looking for analytics to like, hey, how are you getting my listing out there? Ads are a great way because those analytics are usually pushing out to more than you can get in front of in general. So if they're more nitpicky, I love running an ad for them. That seems to really wow them. Sorry, I couldn't kind of go through the steps today or like show you the steps today. However, yeah, book an appointment with us. It really does take like 30 minutes to explain in full. So our one-on-one 30-minute appointment, we'll be able to go through the full thing. I'm going to go back into command. So I'm going to click on back to campaigns in the top left. And before we end class today, I just want to show, because we're talking about listings, the listing section in command. So just a heads up here, listings, there is a section right from here that allows you to pull, so when you click on listings, this first page shows any listings that you currently have. I don't have any, so nothing's here. However, if we go up to the white toolbar at the top and we click on search, just a heads up, we can search for any listings at all brokerages all throughout the nation. So if you're like, I don't know, working with an out-of-town client maybe, I'm trying to think the most practical use of this for you guys. But this section is in here. So yeah, you can search with any listing. What I do like about this section at the very least, so you know how we talked about earlier with our social media posts that, yeah, we can market all Keller Williams Valentine listings. So like if you wanted to kind of go through and look for pretty listings to promote out for your own social media, what we could do here is go to listings and search. And then under filters on the right-hand side, there is an option now, like Market Center. If you click on that in Valentine area and apply, it's only going to show us our like Valentine listings. So like, let's say once a week. Yeah, the filter. Yeah, and it's filter and then Market Center. And then you can select that and apply. I think there's a way to do this in the MLS from what I've heard. So that might be the spot you're doing this as an agent. I just know this is in here. So if like, let's say once a week, we kind of perform this filter and we look through and find a listing we like and reach out to that listing agent and just say, hey, can I promote this? That's a great way to just show that you might have, or to your sphere that you have activity. Because people typically want to work with someone who's like, you know, selling lots of listings. So make them think that with marketing. That's what it's all about. Any questions on that? Oh, I'm sorry. I know we only have 3 minutes, but I want to just show one more thing. It's under websites. So another thing that we can do is feature their website on, or feature their listing on our website. However, it is a little of a manual process. Like you need to go pin that to your website because by like the toggle, it typically is not showing just yours. So under the website section, which is that last icon on the left-hand toolbar, we can click on Edit Agent Website. And, ooh, can I select that from here? We're going to find out. No, maybe not. Okay. So we're going to go edit my website. Then we're going to go into expert mode in the top right. And to add this listing to our homepage as the very first listing in the featured listing section, these are the steps. So we would go into this dashboard here. And for the homepage, we are looking for the homepage. Oh, wait, is that the right one? See, this is the problem when I test too many things. I think it was that one. Okay, I think it's this one. So we're looking for homepage, whichever one that says homepage, so that you can click on it. Yeah, this is right. Then for the featured properties section, let's click on that section here to expand that out. Typically, when I teach the website class, I do recommend like where we see featured listings by, that we turn on the toggles of my listings and then my brokerage listings. So that way there's always like properties at the front page of your website, which is great for real estate websites. However, that being said, because we have this toggle on, it's showing like when other listings when other agents have a listing, those get pushed to the front of your website. So if you need that to be like your listing to be the front of that, what we can do is pin it. So here under pin listings, we're going to see a plus icon. And we can just simply put in the address of our listing. Oh. And select it like from the drop down here. And that way, once I click publish here, when I go to my live website, now the featured listing that will present first is going to be this listing. So that's now like right on the home screen. So that is a little more of a manual process if you have it set up to include our market centers listings, which I do recommend, especially if you don't have listings. So like if we turn that off, well, yeah, that would automatically push ours to the front. But if you don't have a listing, then it won't display anything. So, I mean, I personally, if I were doing this, I would turn on both and I would go pin my listings once I have them so that I can kind of have the best of both worlds. And just to show you guys, I updated my website to the modern view. I don't know if you guys were in the website class, but there's like a new view of the website. And this is the modern view now. It looks a little different than the other version. Like the listings are a little different. Nice and big. But yeah. So that is listing marketing. Any questions I could answer for you guys? Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, it's a great thing just to, yeah, no, it's out there and everything. And yeah, there's a ton of tech, as a new agent, there's like, it's almost a double-edged sword of command can do so much, but that's a lot to learn. So yeah, more so when you find things that you want to use in there, yeah, just book with us. We'll just like walk you through it. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming today, guys. Yeah, absolutely. Happy to help. And next class or next time I teach listings, or we actually do an ad class in general, like a full class on ads. So I'll put that on our calendar soon so that we can like fully dive into that. Deal. Anyone online have questions for me? Feel free to put it in the chat. If not, you can also email us at contact@juleahdesigns.com and we can answer your questions there as well. And thank you for those who came. Appreciate it. Yes. Yes, that's us.